My car here has a problem. The problem is its mileage is simply
Yeah.
it can barely go anywhere, and it's always needing refueling, and you need to pay money, and all of that, well, all of that awful shit. And it's basically lying too. On my dashboard, it'll say about maybe over 400 miles on a full tank. When in reality, when I actually do the driving, I get around maybe 100 and 200 miles. That's awful. That's a 50% of what the car is telling you. So there has to be something wrong with the data. Now, your car does come with a fuel efficiency gauge, right? It's going to tell you in this instant what is your miles per gallon, or within the 20 seconds or so. However, that's it. There's no other way to extract that information. There's no way to, right? I can't record that when I'm driving because I'm not trying to get into a car crash and die. So I have to think of a solution. And what might that solution be? Well, let's think about it. In our car, we have something called the OBD port. And the OBD port basically acts as a way where we can receive line information from the vehicle, which the vehicle's computer also can see. Stuff like its speed, its fuel level, its fuel efficiency, its fuel burn rate. This probably is all information that's somewhere in the spots. So how can we collect that data so we can analyze it further? Because my car is going to tell me that I have 20 miles per gallon for its fuel efficiency at points. Yet that would make it so it could drive close to 400 miles when I'm really not getting that. So let's try to figure that out. Okay, and so here I have drawn up here a diagram of basically what my project is trying to accomplish. Now, it's purely hypothetical, purely conceptual, and purely based on what I think would work, right, with my basic research. Now, I'm not going to call myself an expert, because I'm not. I'm an amateur, and I've obviously just started learning this. But based on what I know, this is going to basically be how my project is going to work. So at the brains of it all, we have the ESP32. It's a single board computer with a lot of GPIO pins, so general purpose input and output, which is why it can operate as both a TX and RX, transfer and receive. And it's very cheap. If I fry it, it's okay. I have a lot more. And in fact, it requires a very low power. In fact, it can probably be powered from the car itself, from the OBD port. And so let's look at the second component. So if this is component one, the brains, then we need to think about where the data is coming from, the data source. And that's going to be our OBD, which stands for Onboard Diagnostics. It's on the bottom of your car. So if you're looking at the dashboard, in the bottom left, you're going to have a port. And typically service people, they will use this port to diagnose your car. But it's not only for diagnosing, but also for gathering data. So for example, the OBD port can provide information such as speed, fuel level, probably temperature, revolutions, right, of the engine. So with all this data, we can collect it, right? We can transmit this to the ESP32 and save the data somewhere, or with the ESP32, because it is a wireless module, it can both operate with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. We can transfer it to our app, to like phone, or to a computer, or to an SD card. Honestly, anything. It's very flexible. So let me basically go over how it's going to work. So we have our ESP32, and you can basically ignore VIN and ground. This just stands for voltage input and ground, which is just how it's going to get power, right? Everything requires electricity. And the greatest power of the ESP32 is our GPIO pins, general purpose input and output, which can operate at both a transfer or receive, meaning transfer, meaning we send voltage or data, and receive, meaning we receive voltage/data. And what stands in between our OBD port and our ESP32 is the CAN transceiver. And the purpose of the CAN transceiver is quite simple. It's to translate, it's basically a translator of electrical signals that we can read and write to from our ESP32 to the actual CAN protocol on our cars. So for example, OBD, and when I refer to OBD, I refer to the OBD2 protocol. So if I write that there, OBD2, this is the data protocol, which adds which rests on top of the actual physical protocol. So the physical interactions of the CAN, which is called the CAN protocol. And so on your OBD port, so on pin 14 and pin 6, these operate what we call the CAN L or CAN low and CAN H or CAN high bus, which is basically used to transfer the data from our automotive vehicles into a readable form, right? And if you look up any kind of specification of the OBD port, you'll realize that a lot of these ports are vendor specific, meaning that it depends on the specific manufacturer of your car. Thankfully, with the CAN L and the CAN H, which sits on obviously below the OBD2 protocol, the idea of the OBD2 protocol is to offer a standardized way. A standardized way meaning that anyone with the standard can implement their own, basically reader or writer, and their own tools. However, it kind of gets into the point of, well, what is the feasibility of this project? I don't know, because the data that's provided by the OBD2 protocol is still also vendor specific. This is actually a big issue within automotive industry, which is where automotive manufacturers, so like Ford, GM, these kinds of large companies, they can control the data output of our OBD2 ports, right? Our OBD ports on our vehicles. They have control. That's why we have so many vendor-specific pins. We don't know. And OBD also itself, they can limit what kind of data is transmitted out of OBD2 and what we can transmit into it. Obviously, this is a idea of right to repair and how much we own our own vehicles, because it's obvious that they're going to try to keep it as secret as possible or as proprietary as possible to make the most money, right? To have their service centers. But this is the basic architecture. The other starts like here, like a buck converter, and pins 4 and 5, these are just different parts of the electrical system, right? Because they all need electricity to function. Port 16, for example, outputs the 12 volts from your car battery. Port 4 and 5 are ground ports, which will connect basically all the other components that need to go to ground. And also the port 16, or the 12 volt, can provide power for all this. So it should be able to operate within the vehicle without needing any kind of external power supply. And so now, I'm going to get to designing it. Okay, so as you can see, I have it designed out, but again, I haven't actually made it yet. This video that I'm making right now is just to introduce this project, kind of like the Go series, where I don't necessarily have a finished product immediately, but I believe that making YouTube videos that show the progress of my learning and my creation will both allow you to understand the process of learning, wherein not everything is perfect and the journey to creating something isn't beautiful a lot of times. But second, it acts as a sense of accountability towards myself. If I create a video that says I'm going to complete something, I'm more likely to complete it than trying to just finish a project start to end without kind of presenting that to anyone. Now, I know that the production value and the production quality of my videos are quite low, and it's not that I lack the gear. I have more than enough of the gear to do that. I just genuinely do not know how to film myself in a more proper way, to make it seem more both cinematic, entertaining, because I'm kind of a boring person in general. I'm trying to learn a bit more about cinematography, and filming myself and kind of creating a more entertaining kind of video. But again, I don't want that to be taking away from my content, right? I want it to still be educational and learning, and I don't want to make it where you watch me just for the fact when you're just eating, but also for trying to learn. Now, of course, I'm trying to make it a bit more entertaining because my videos are boring. They bore me to death when I watch them. And I just try to balance that act of being able to help with learning, the process of learning different and new skills, but also balancing that with entertaining, something that's funny or fun. And in order to explain why I haven't been producing as much recently for the past maybe 3 or 4 months, is that I've been very simply busy with school, really busy. I'm in my senior year now, so that's my last year, and I just finished college applications. So that's like writing essays, submitting test scores, so on and so forth. So now I actually feel like I have some time to make YouTube videos and go back to creating what I love. I haven't really found much time to even do my hobbies at all because I attend a very rigorous program at my school, the International Baccalaureate program. So it's very academically rigorous. And so for that reason, I've been trying to make it so now I can come back to YouTube and create videos, even if maybe I won't be able to produce videos very frequently. I still want to be able to make more, and I hope that the ones that I do make are higher production value and higher production quality. So thank you all for watching me today. I know that this video comes out very randomly, but I hope that this project will go according to plan, and I'll make sure to film every step of the way to show you guys. All right, thank you so much.